All right, so today we're going deep
Yeah.
into Tolkien.
Yes.
It's Middle-earth history.
Absolutely.
And we're exploring, kind of a big question,
Okay.
which is true peace ever really possible in a world like this?
Oh, that's a great question to start with.
Yeah.
I think to even begin to answer that,
Yeah.
we have to go all the way back to
Well,
the
yeah.
beginning, to the First Age.
First Age.
Yeah, when the world was still young.
Okay.
And the echoes of creation were still,
Right.
kind of felt everywhere.
So we're going even before hobbits
Oh, yeah.
and rings.
Way.
We're talking about the creation of the world itself.
That's right.
Okay, so tell me about this First Age.
Well, we can think of it as the Age of Valar
Okay.
and the wars against Morgoth.
Morgoth.
Right, so the Valar,
Okay.
imagine these incredibly powerful beings,
Okay.
almost angelic,
Okay.
who shaped the world after its creation by Eru Ilúvatar,
Okay.
the supreme being. Each of the Valar had their own domain.
Right.
Some shaped mountains, others the seas, even the stars themselves.
So it's almost like a
And
cosmic orchestra,
it is.
with each Valar playing their part in shaping the world.
Exactly. And the music of this orchestra literally
Wow.
is how Tolkien envisioned the creation of the world.
Okay.
The Ainur.
Okay.
They're like this grand choir of angels.
Okay.
And they sang a symphony so powerful,
Yeah.
so full of raw emotion that it literally brought the world into being.
So the world was born from music.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Where do the elves fit into all of this?
So they are the first children of Ilúvatar
Okay.
to awaken in this newly created world
Okay.
by the shores of a starlit lake called Cuiviénen.
Cuivian.
Yeah. And the Valar, moved by their beauty and innocence,
Okay.
invited them to live in Valinor, a blessed realm free from darkness.
So a paradise.
Yeah.
But paradise can't last forever, can it?
You're right. You're right. This is where Melkor comes in.
Melkor.
Yeah, he's one of the Valar.
Okay.
But he was consumed by this desire for domination.
Right.
He wanted to twist the world to his will, disrupt the harmony.
He sounds like a troublemaker.
He was a big troublemaker, and we know him better by his later name.
Okay.
Morgoth, the first Dark Lord.
Morgoth.
Right.
So not all the Valar were good.
No, not all of them.
What did he do?
Well, imagine this. So Morgoth, after a period of imprisonment,
Okay.
escapes and sows discord among the elves.
Oh.
This leads to the creation of the Silmarils.
The Silmarils.
Yes, 3 jewels of unimaginable beauty,
Okay.
crafted by Fëanor, the most skilled elven smith.
I've heard whispers of their legend.
Yeah.
What made them so special?
They weren't just gems.
Okay.
They held the very light of the 2 trees of Valinor,
Whoa.
which illuminated the world before the sun and moon.
So before the sun and moon.
Yes, to behold them was to witness pure brilliance.
So
Just a vision of unparalleled beauty.
So I can see how that could become an object of obsession. Morgoth would not just admire these from afar.
No, he coveted them, he stole them from the elves,
But,
and in a final act of defiance, he destroyed the 2 trees themselves,
no.
plunging Valinor into darkness.
So he steals the Silmarils, plunges the world into darkness, and sparks a war.
Yeah, this is where the First Age takes a dark turn.
A very dark turn. Did the elves stand any chance?
They had moments of defiance of valor, but ultimately,
Yeah.
the First Age was a time of immense loss for them.
Okay.
Consider Gondolin,
Gondolin.
an elven city of unparalleled beauty and wonder.
Okay.
It was hidden, it was fortified, yet ultimately brought down
Wow.
by Morgoth's cunning and might.
The fall of Gondolin, it's more than just a battle lost.
Right.
It feels symbolic.
Yeah.
Like a beacon of hope extinguished.
It's a very tragic aspect of the First Age.
Yeah.
This time of great beauty and terrible loss.
Yeah.
But it also serves as a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming darkness,
Right.
there are those who fight for the light, even if their efforts seem doomed to fail.
And Gondolin wasn't the only elven city to fall.
No, it was. What about Nargothrond?
Nargothrond.
Another name whispered in legends.
Yes.
Nargothrond. Like, Gondolin was a marvel of elven craftsmanship,
Okay.
a testament to their skill and artistry,
Yeah.
but it too fell to Morgoth. Its treasures plundered, its people scattered.
It sounds like Morgoth was practically unstoppable during the First Age.
He was very powerful.
How did this era of war and darkness finally come to an end?
Well, it took the direct intervention
Okay.
of the Valar themselves.
Okay.
They launched the War of Wrath,
The War of Wrath.
a final apocalyptic battle that reshaped the very landscape of Middle-earth.
Wow.
This war culminated in Morgoth's capture, his power broken, and his being cast out into the void beyond the world.
The void beyond the world.
Yeah.
Wow. So
That's how the First Age ended.
Yeah.
It was a cataclysmic event, but
Yeah.
victory came at a very steep price.
yeah.
The battles were so devastating that Balerion, a whole region of Middle-earth, was sunk beneath the waves.
A whole region just gone.
It's just gone.
It really drives home the scale of this conflict.
It does.
The sheer power at play.
Yeah.
But with Morgoth vanquished,
Yeah.
was peace finally possible in Middle-earth?
Well, not quite remember the question we posed at the very beginning.
Right.
Is true peace really possible?
Yeah.
It's a theme that echoes throughout all the different ages.
Okay.
Morgoth might be gone, but the seeds of future conflict were already sown.
Okay.
His most devoted lieutenant, Sauron, was still out there lurking in the shadows.
Sauron. I think everyone listening knows Sauron from
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings.
Right.
He doesn't really do peace, does he?
He does not.
Right.
But before we delve into Sauron's rise,
Okay.
let's shift our focus to the Second Age.
Okay, the Second Age?
Yeah. And the rise of men,
Okay.
specifically the Dúnedain,
Wait.
those who fought alongside the Elves against Morgoth.
So the Second Age, this is where we start to see those names. And places from The Lord of the Rings
Exactly.
begin to take shape.
Exactly. So remember, the Dúnedain fought valiantly against Morgoth,
Right.
and as a reward for their loyalty, they were gifted the island kingdom
Okay.
of Númenor. Imagine this land of unparalleled beauty and splendor,
Okay.
a civilization at the height of its power, its people blessed with long lifespans.
Sounds pretty idyllic.
It
A
was.
fitting reward for their sacrifice.
Right.
But did this paradise last?
It did for a time,
Okay.
but within that paradise, the seeds of its downfall were already present.
Uh-oh.
You see, the Númenorians, while noble and strong,
Yeah.
were also susceptible to the temptations of power
Oh, yeah.
and the fear of death.
The fear of death, that's powerful.
Especially for people blessed with long life.
Yeah.
I can see how it might lead them down a dangerous path.
So was this how Sauron was able to infiltrate their society?
Precisely, Sauron, ever the cunning manipulator,
Yeah.
saw an opportunity in their growing unease,
Okay.
their yearning for something more.
Yeah.
He appeared to them in disguise, offering counsel and guidance, subtly twisting their desires to his own ends.
Sauron's MO whisper promises of power.
Yes.
Classic villain.
Classic.
So what happened to Númenor?
Their obsession with defying death
Right.
and achieving ultimate power ultimately led to their downfall.
Okay.
The last king of Númenor, Pharazôn,
Ar-Pharazôn.
completely consumed by Sauron's influence,
Oh.
decided to commit the ultimate act of defiance.
What was that?
He led a massive armada to attack the Undying Lands.
Attacking the Valar.
Yes, the forbidden realm of the Valar.
Talk about hubris. Did they really think they could win?
It was a fool's errand, fueled by pride and this delusion of grandeur,
Yeah.
and the consequences were swift and devastating.
Yeah.
Iluvatar, the Supreme Being, intervened directly, unleashing his wrath upon the Númenorian fleet.
Oh, wow.
The armada was utterly destroyed, and the island itself
Wow.
swallowed by the sea.
A whole civilization gone.
Just like that. It's a real testament to the idea that even the most powerful empires
Yeah.
are built on very fragile foundations.
They are?
What happened to the Dúnedain? Were they all lost?
Well, not all of them. A small group,
Right.
led by Elendil and his sons Isildur and Anarion,
Okay.
foresaw the coming disaster.
Okay.
They remained faithful to Iluvatar
Okay.
and opposed Sauron's influence, and they escaped Númenor before its destruction.
So a glimmer of hope amidst the tragedy.
A small glimmer.
Where did these faithful Dúnedain go?
They sailed east to Middle-earth,
Okay.
establishing the kingdoms of Gondor and Arnor.
Gondor and Arnor.
Yes, these kingdoms born from the ashes of Númenor
All right.
inherited both the strength and the tragic flaws of their ancestors.
So this is where we really start to see the familiar world
Yes.
of the Lord of the Rings taking shape.
Yes, the Second Age is where those seeds are planted.
Okay.
But what about Sauron?
I have a feeling he didn't go down so easily.
You're right, Sauron, although his physical form was destroyed, survived the downfall of Númenor.
Okay.
His spirit, however, was bound to the One Ring.
Right.
And as long as it existed, he could never truly be vanquished.
Okay.
He returned to Mordor, his dark fortress,
Right.
gathering his strength determined to conquer Middle-earth once and for all.
So Sauron's back,
He's back.
and he's brought his A game.
He has.
This doesn't sound like a recipe for peace.
It wasn't. Sauron's return led to the last alliance of elves and men.
The last alliance.
The final, desperate attempt to stop him from plunging Middle-earth into darkness.
The last alliance, that sounds like an epic showdown. Elves and men united against the forces of darkness who prevailed.
It was a victory, but a costly one.
Okay.
The alliance led by High King Gil-galad of the Elves
Okay.
and Elendil of the Dúnedain
Okay.
managed to defeat Sauron in a battle that shook the very foundations of the world.
Wow.
But both Gil-galad and Elendil fell in the final confrontation.
So even in victory, there was loss.
Yes.
And what about Sauron? Was he finally vanquished?
Well,
Isildur.
Elendil's son cut the One Ring from Sauron's hand, crippling his power.
Okay.
But crucially, he couldn't bring himself to destroy it.
Oh, no.
This act, born of pity, or perhaps a touch of Sauron's own corrupting influence,
Right.
ensured that the Dark Lord's spirit would endure, waiting for the opportunity to rise again.
So the Second Age ends with a victory,
Yes.
but a precarious one.
Very precarious.
Sauron's defeated but not destroyed.
Right.
The One Ring, the key to his power, remains.
Yes.
And the world inherits the consequences of this bittersweet triumph.
Exactly. The Second Age sets the stage for the Third Age.
The Third Age.
The time of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings.
Right.
And as we'll see, the shadow of Sauron's return looms large over this era.
The Second Age ends with that last alliance.
Oh, yeah.
And the seeming final defeat of Sauron.
Right.
But that victory, as we know, wasn't absolute.
Not at all.
So what happens to Middle-earth
Well,
in the wake of this monumental conflict with the One Ring still out there?
right. The Third Age dawns.
The Third Age.
And it's a time of gradual decline.
Decline.
Think of it like a slow creeping twilight descending upon the world.
Okay.
The great kingdoms of Gondor and Arnor,
Right.
founded by the Dúnedain, they begin to fade.
Oh.
Arnor splinters into smaller, weaker realms, and Gondor, while still mighty, is beset by internal strife
Right.
and the ever-present threat from the east.
It sounds almost inevitable, this slow decay.
Yeah.
I can't imagine Sauron's just sitting back watching it all unfold.
No, he's not. He is actively working to regain his power,
Okay.
but in a very subtle and insidious way.
Okay. How so?
Remember, his spirit is bound to the One Ring.
Right.
As long as it exists, he can never truly be vanquished.
Right.
He establishes a stronghold in Dol Guldur.
Ol Guldur.
Deep within Mirkwood, his influence spreading like a creeping blight across the land.
So even in defeat, Sauron's presence is still felt.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, it's like a shadow hanging over Middle-earth. A constant reminder that the darkness could return. Are there any forces actively working to oppose him during this time?
There are a group of wise and powerful individuals
Okay.
sensing the growing threat.
Yeah.
They form the White Council,
The White Council?
Gandalf the Grey,
Right.
whom we know so well from The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
He's a key member,
Okay.
along with others like Saruman the White,
Okay.
the Lady Galadriel of Lothlorien,
Okay.
and Elrond the Lord of Rivendell.
So the White Council, it sounds almost like a
It is.
secret society working behind the scenes to combat these forces of darkness.
Exactly.
What were their goals?
Well, their primary goal was to contain Sauron's power,
Okay.
to prevent him from regaining his full strength.
Okay.
They knew that as long as the One Ring remained lost,
Right.
Sauron would be diminished.
Okay.
But finding the ring was like searching for a single grain of sand on a vast beach.
Yeah.
It was a daunting, almost impossible task.
And all the while, Sauron is rebuilding his strength, his shadow lengthening across the land. Were there any signs, any visible manifestations of his growing power during this time?
Yes, the Nazgul,
The Nazgûl.
those terrifying ring wraiths
Right.
who serve as Sauron's most fearsome enforcers,
Right.
they begin to emerge from the shadows.
Right.
These were once kings of men,
Okay.
seduced by the power of Sauron's rings.
Right.
Their very beings, twisted and corrupted, enslaved to his will.
The Nazgûl, just the name conjures up images of dread and fear.
It does.
Their presence in the Third Age is a clear sign that the peace is fragile,
Very fragile.
that darkness is encroaching, and yet it seems like life goes on.
It does.
In Middle-earth, there's still joy,
Yeah.
adventure,
Yeah.
even a sense of normalcy.
For a time, the shadow of Sauron seems distant.
Right, we see that in The Hobbit.
Exactly.
Bilbo has his unexpected adventure.
Yes.
The dwarves reclaim their treasure
Yes.
from Smaug the dragon. But these events, seemingly isolated, are all part of a larger tapestry,
They are all connected.
woven together by the unseen hand of fate. And that tapestry leads directly to The Lord of the Rings,
It does.
the discovery of the One Ring,
Yes.
that seemingly small event Changes everything, doesn't it?
It does. Bilbo's finding of the ring
Right.
is the catalyst,
Yeah.
the spark that ignites the events
Yeah.
that will determine the fate of Middle-earth. The One Ring,
Yeah.
the very embodiment of Sauron's power.
Right.
It's no longer lost, it has resurfaced, and with it, the threat of Sauron's return becomes imminent.
This is where the Third Age really takes center stage.
It does.
It's no longer a time of slow decline, but a time of urgent action.
Yes. The fate of Middle-earth hangs in the balance.
So the quest to destroy the One Ring
Right.
becomes the defining event of the Third Age.
It
A
does.
struggle that will test the courage,
Yes.
the will, the very spirit of the free peoples of Middle-earth.
Exactly.
The War of the Ring, as it comes to be known.
Yes.
It's not just a battle,
No.
but the culmination of millennia of conflict.
Right.
The final confrontation between light and darkness, and at the heart of that conflict, we find Frodo Baggins,
Yes.
a hobbit thrust into a role he never sought,
Right.
tasked with a burden he never imagined he would bear.
Exact.
Frodo's journey is the heart of the Third Age.
It is.
His courage, his resilience, his unwavering belief
Yeah.
in the goodness that still exists in the world.
It's inspiring.
These are the qualities that ultimately lead to Sauron's defeat.
They are, but as we know,
Yes.
that victory is bittersweet.
It is. So, what happens to Middle-earth in the aftermath of the War of the Ring? Does true peace finally come to this war-torn land?
The Fourth Age dawns the Age of Men.
The Age of Men.
Sauron is vanquished, his power broken beyond repair.
Yeah.
Aragorn, the rightful heir of Isildur,
Yes.
is crowned King Elisar, uniting the kingdoms of Gondor and Arnor,
Gondor and Arnor.
ushering in an era of peace and healing, but the world is irrevocably changed.
How? So what are the lasting effects?
Well, the elves, weary from centuries of conflict, they begin to depart Middle-earth.
They leave.
They sail west to the undying lands, leaving behind the world they helped shape.
Wow.
Even Gandalf,
Gandalf, too.
their guide and protector, eventually joins them.
The departure of the elves, it's a poignant image,
Is.
a symbol of an era coming to an end. What does it tell us about the nature of Middle-earth, about the world Tolkien created?
I think it speaks to the idea that even in victory, there is loss.
Yeah.
That time marches on.
Yeah.
And even the most ancient and the most powerful beings are subject to its relentless flow.
Right.
The magic that once permeated Middle-earth begins to fade.
Yeah.
It becomes a world more akin to our own.
Right.
A world where the extraordinary gives way to the ordinary.
So the Third Age ends not with a bang, but with a whisper.
A bittersweet whisper.
The echoes of ancient conflicts fade, and a new era begins, an era shaped by the sacrifices of those who came before. What a journey it's been.
It has been quite a journey.
Traversing these vast ages, witnessing the rise and fall of civilizations, these epic struggles between good and evil.
Those themes run throughout.
And throughout it, all that question lingers.
It does.
Is true peace ever really possible in Middle-earth?
I think perhaps Tolkien himself provides the answer.
Okay.
Not through grand pronouncement,
Yeah.
but through the quiet heroism of his characters,
Right.
through their unwavering belief in the power of hope, even in the face of overwhelming darkness.
It's a powerful message, one that resonates even beyond the pages of Tolkien's books.
I think so.
It makes you think about our own world,
Yeah.
our own struggles.
Mm,
Perhaps true peace isn't an end state, but a constant striving,
right.
a choice we make each day to fight for the light,
Yeah.
to believe in the possibility of better tomorrow. And on that note,
A hopeful note.
we encourage you to continue exploring Tolkien's world.
There's so much to discover.
Delve into its depths, discover its secrets, and perhaps you'll find your own answers to the questions that echo through its ages.
I hope so.